the home of the do-it-yourself trucker. When everything goes wrong, you got a Redneckanize. But the other thing that happened, and it really hurt trucking the most because we use the highways so much more than anybody else thinks we do. But one of the bridges in Memphis is closed. And what happened was there was a crack in the structure that they don't know, what happened or whatever. I guess they do, I don't know. But they shut it down and they said it could be closed for almost 2 months. They say at least 6 weeks, could be more. I'm thinking it might be 3 months is what I think. You just never know. But it is a big deal. And I remember, and of course I have no proof that I did this, but I did. And if you don't believe me, fine. But about 5 or 6 years ago, back when, we were told by OIDA to contact your politicians and your congressmen and your senators and everything about voting for, either road funding or trucking issues or whatever. One of the things I included was the need for, of course, we all think infrastructure is a big deal, but really we need more bridges. And most importantly, we need bridges in the southern part of the United States. And I kind of sat there, and of course it was just while I was going down the road, I was thinking about this, and I got all the details kind of in my head, and I went back to the map and looked at it. If you think like Memphis and north of Memphis, there are a lot of crossings, a lot. Now, I'm thinking of just in terms of like interstate, like how many different places can you cross the Mississippi in St. Louis? How many different spots? I mean, there's 2 spots up in Davenport. I mean, that's 2. Memphis only has 2. How can Memphis only have 2 and Davenport, Iowa has 2? I thought Memphis was bigger, and I know it's traveled more. I know more trucks go through the Memphis area because Memphis is kind of a corridor between, Texas, Oklahoma, New Mexico, Arizona, and Tennessee, Kentucky, Ohio. I mean, it's like everything goes through that way. I mean, it got to the point where Memphis was such a bottleneck that if you were in Texas and you were going to Indiana especially, but Illinois, Indiana, even Ohio, if you were running through up to Ohio, you were thinking, I just go up 40 and go to Nashville and cut up that way. You know what? It probably would have been easier and less stressful if you cut up and then take that 155 into Kentucky. We did that a lot. I did that a lot because there was less traffic and you didn't go through that many big cities. And you got up into Kentucky faster and crossed into that way. And like I said, it was nice and it's less traffic, smooth, And of course the congestion in Memphis, a lot of times you heard on the CB in Little Rock. You would hear on the CB about how messed up Memphis was, and there was a big accident and everything was shut down. And I don't know about anybody y'all, but when I drove up there, if I was going east and going into Memphis, and if I heard in Little Rock that things were messed up, by the time I got to Memphis, it was still messed up. So we know that it's a big bottleneck. And then I was looking at the articles where they're talking about how everything was going up there. And this bridge that's cracked and broke down, it's only 48 years old. The bridge that everybody's having to use, that the Interstate 55 bridge, it's 78 years old. No, 72 years old. So it's older. And it's the one that everybody has to go on to. The other one is the one that's broke. It's only 48 years old. But again, there's only 2 bridges in Memphis. Why is that? That's crazy. There should be at least 3, if not 4, and you're talking about bottlenecks. I mean, not even that it's a bridge. Okay. Anybody out there that's living out there in the United States that's never been in trucking before, and maybe that you're in truck driving and you've never been through Memphis before, it's the worst. It's basically as soon as you cross from West Memphis, Arkansas, in Interstate 35 or Interstate 55 is the worst one. So if you're in West Memphis, Arkansas, and you cross Interstate 55, like you're going to go through the southern side of Memphis, and that's going to take you going like 55 south, or you're going to go across and catch 78 going into Alabama. If you go that way, you have to. There's only one exit, and as soon as you cross the bridge, you have to exit to stay on 55. And I think it's only one lane. At one point, it was only one. Maybe it's only 2 lanes. But again, it's an exit, so you can't do but maybe 35. You can't do 40. You got to do less than 40 going across that exit. Of course, that slows everybody down. Everybody doing 55, 60 across the bridge, and then you got to slow down and take that exit. Going back the other way, so if you're in, let's say, Mississippi or Alabama, coming up from Louisiana that way, and you're on 55 North, and you want to stay on 55 North and go 55 North to Chicago, then you go into Memphis. You veer off into the to the west side of Memphis, up by the to the industrial area where it's between the interstate and the river, and you go up into there. And if you want to stay on 55 North, then you have to exit. Now it is a 2-lane exit, but it's a cloverleaf. It's a turnaround. So you go under the bridge, which is a low bridge, by the way. It's only like 13.8, so you can't have a taller truck go through. You got to be 13.6. You go under the bridge, and then you turn to the right real slow. And like I said, it's 2-lane. And a lot of times truck drivers, when you're making that hard curve like that, there's not a lot of room. So a lot of them, they either take up space or they stay back, and they don't want to get in the other driver's way. And then when you come up, then you got to yield to traffic to continue on across the bridge to go over the bridge. And it's a bottleneck. It's crazy. So it's not only that you're on an interstate and you got to cross a bridge, it's that you have to exit to cross a bridge. Now 40, which is the bridge that's closed, it's not that bad. You do have to exit, but it's a 2 or 3 lane exit off to the left that continues 40 and goes around to the north side of Memphis. That was always the easiest one. I think it is a 2-lane exit if you are going like 40 westbound. But again, it's still an exit where the highway is going into downtown Memphis. But in order for you to stay on 40, you have to exit, and you have to get off the highway and to continue on. And like, again, that's another bottleneck. If it was busy, like during rush hour and all that, it was always backed up. And it just threw you off. Once you got to West Memphis, it was more wide open, a lot more lanes. Of course, you had the way stations, which, that's probably the best thing is they have to close the way station down. So, but those were always the way stations there in Arkansas that were checking everybody. But it's crazy. But I'll tell you this. I just thought when I wrote the congressman, I told him we need more bridges on the southern side, like Memphis and South. You only got technically Interstate 10 and Interstate 20. And then that's it. There's no other major interstate that crosses Mississippi River until you get to Memphis. And of course there are little side roads, but a lot of them are not for trucks. And some of them they're only 1 lane going across. I think I took one over there in southern Arkansas to go over to Mississippi. And like I said, it's only one lane, it's a 2-lane road going across. So it's only 1 lane over, 1 lane back. Of course, it's not that busy, but still when you're thinking about trying to divert traffic, everybody's bottlenecked, and all that. Now, once you get north of Memphis, now you talked about Interstate 155, which goes from Interstate 55, crosses there into southern part of, or to Tennessee, and then curves up and goes into Kentucky. And that puts you on those Kentucky turnpike stuff. So that kind of deal. It was crazy. I always thought that whether you needed another interstate, you still need another bridge. When you talk about terrorist attack, I always thought the easiest thing if the terrorists wanted to really screw with us, all they needed to do was strategically blow up a bunch of bridges across the Mississippi, and you would pretty much cut the country in half, because there's no way that you can get from one side of the country to the other without crossing Mississippi. That's all there is to it. And you think about the bridges like I said in Iowa and in Nebraska. I was thinking about those bridges, and it's not only that they're bridges and they're probably newer and they've been updated. Of course, they get a lot of colder weather and everything. But the other thing is that it's not like a bottleneck that you don't have to exit to stay on it doesn't confine you. Going across the bridge doesn't hurt you. It doesn't, you're doing. Sometimes you don't even realize that you're already on the bridge because it's a major interstate. But the ones in Memphis, it's different. You have to exit in order to stay on the highway to continue on the bridge. Like I said, on the 55, that's even worse. It's even worse. It's never, of course you don't go that way unless you're planning on going south or going toward Alabama or going toward Mississippi. The other way, going like toward the East Coast, you're always going that way, going 40, which is around the north side, which that's the one that's closed. So that one there, I don't, like I said, I haven't been up there in a while, but I can just imagine the bottleneck that everybody's having to do to get across the other bridge, the southern bridge, which is the Interstate 55 bridge. That one there is, like I said, it's the hardest one to cross, and now you got more traffic crossing it because the other bridge is closed. So it's something else. But CDL Life got a pretty good article. They had a couple articles, but they follow the tweets. The city of Memphis put out a map on their Twitter page where they're talking about planning ahead. And of course, all they're doing is pointing out which bridge is closed and which bridge is open. It says here are some alternate ways to get around town while the I-40 bridge is closed. And basically, what they're talking about is if you're downtown, and I mean, that's one thing. Just imagine how much more crap you got to go through just going through the city, going from one side of the city to the other, being that you're truck driving or commuting or traveling or tourism. I mean, think about all the tourism. Think about all that. Think about people that are like driving across the country, and they just want to get on the other side of the river, and you can't even do that now without some heavy traffic. I bet you that traffic will be bad. I wouldn't even try to go through there unless it was 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, because I bet you it's going to be bumper to bumper. And I've already talked to a couple of dispatchers. They say it's been a pain in the ass. It's been a pain in the ass. Everything got pushed back. Everything's got changed around where things got delayed big time. So that's a big deal. But yeah, I mean, like I said, if you're going through Memphis, just know. I mean, you probably already know by now. It made CNN. It made everybody. So that kind of thing. Just don't really know what's going to happen. But we'll try to keep you updated. We'll try to think. We're a bunch of truckers. We talk and we check things out and see how things are going. So yeah, that bridge is probably going to close to at least it says at least 6 weeks, but I'm thinking 2 to 3 months is what I'm thinking. So yeah, but just check us out, redneckanize.com. Give us a holler, 516-387-1733, and let us know what you think. And also, like I said, go check out our YouTube channel. We appreciate everybody doing that. And subscribe, comment, share, like, all that good stuff. We appreciate everybody doing that. Check us out in there and doing that. We've just gotten some great sponsors. One of the sponsors, like I said, that's helped us out big time from the get-go is DPF Regeneration. DPF Regeneration has got like this just gobs and gobs of experience when it comes to diesel engines, and then they got into the particulate filters and all of the SCR technology and all that. They have all the sizes for all the different motors, the filters, the SCR units, the EGR coolers, catalyst mufflers. I heard they were even talking about getting into like charge air coolers and turbos, and where they can. They're not necessarily manufacturing them. What they're doing is they're just having them in their inventory. That way, they can be your go-to for all those parts and that technology. And of course, they have the expertise to tell you all about it. So if you're trying to learn more about the system, or if you got questions, you can give them a holler. That's at 800-634-3010, or you can check them out at dpfregeneration.com. And of course, they'll help you out, and let them know you appreciate them supporting Redneckanize, and we appreciate them too. So yeah, just stick around here for us, and we'll be back in a second. All right, now.